Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the Freelancer commentary, where, well, now we need to make tracks to Bretonia, and of course start figuring out more about this little artifact we got in our possession.
Well, I've got good and bad news. The good news is that there are jump holes nearby that lead to Manchester and Leeds.
Leeds? My friend Tobias runs the equipment dealership there.
The bad news is that Liberty has dramatically stepped up their policies against illegal artifacts. Rumors speak of hundreds of arrests, and there's a reward on our heads. 1 million credits. Can you believe it? The artifact is the key. We have to find out what it is and why they want it so badly.
Alert! Unknown contacts are closing in fast. Launch all fighters.
Picking up at least 4 Ryland heavy fighters. Man all turrets.
Oh, well, nothing changes, but, yeah, I think... Well, again, I did mention in the previous part that if you go back to this system, the lane hackers are hostile to you again, so, I don't know, I guess maybe attracting the attention of a foreign government was probably the reason for that, but... Yeah, either way, you know, fight off the Rhineland ships, make sure you survive, and, yeah, I mean, while the Defender is pretty much serving our purposes early game, yeah, it's feeling a little bit outclassed here. Should probably thinking about changing our ships. But yeah, that's, you know, something we'll worry about when we get to Bretonia. In the meantime, though, it's very much just sort of a case of fight off this attacking patrol, and, yeah, you start to see why a lot of people desperately want this artifact. What does it do? What is its purpose? Well, that's why we need to find Dr. Quintain. But he's only in Bretonia as an old British fart. But yeah, this is very much where us and Juni part ways for the time being. Again, she pretty much goes off to find Dr. Quintain. You arrive in Bretonia, do a couple of, you know, missions to sort of make back a bit of capital, change your ship, and, you know, do whatever else. But, yeah, we're pretty much cutting to the good stuff. So you are gonna be getting a little bit more of that delicious plot, and, well, again, starting to figure out a little bit more about the archaeological dig sites that have been, well, going on throughout the border worlds. And I suppose to sort of talk about the border worlds in and of themselves, yeah, again, some areas, well, again, there are obviously borders between different systems, so, you know, to use an example, you know, like, you know, Omega-5, Tau 31, or whatever, they're pretty much borders between Bretonia, Kuzari, you know, the Sirius systems, and, you know, Rhineland, and whatever else. And they're the primary hotspots where, again, the colony ships, you know, they're beyond the colony ships and the core worlds, but at the same time, it's also where they find, you know, a lot of the more interesting alien artifacts and, you know, other very vistas that Trent wanted to explore, you know, rather than returning to the Leeds system. Speaking of which, home sweet home. Leeds. Yeah, it's very much like the England of old. It's dusty, it's grungy, it's, oh, it's very Birmingham. You know, it's Venice of the North it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know too much about Leeds, apart from its music festivals, and, it doesn't really look that much better, and you can see here, you know, with this very run-down-looking place, that there's a reason why Trent would have wanted to leave, and, you know, sort of explore the cosmos. But alas, it is home sweet home, and I guess, you know, before we finally meet the man himself, yeah, we get to meet Trent's father figure, Richard Winston Tobias, voiced by John Rhys Davies, lad. And, yeah, that is true. We do actually have a bit of a star-studded... Well, star-studded? Well, I mean, it wasn't Indiana Jones, so, I guess that makes sense. He was also in the Anaconda sequels that were very fucking terrible, but, yeah, getting into Trent's backstory, basically his parents were, you know, star pilots that ended up getting into a terrible accident on Leeds, and, you know, Tobias, being a family friend, basically took it upon himself to raise Trent and, you know, taught him how to fix ships and gave him an apprenticeship as a mechanic, but of course Trent was eventually like, fuck that, I want to explore the universe. And, well, yeah, Tobias was heartbroken and, you know, despite all of Trent's, you know, his eagerness to explore the galaxy and make some shoddy deals by putting all his savings into the boron that eventually landed him on Freeport 7, well, yeah, you know, now Trent's back and, ooh, he's gonna get an earful from a very angry Welshman. But yeah, you will be starting to see some of the more beautiful, well, beautiful, question mark, I'd say some of the more lived-in vistas and, you know, varieties and environment that, you know, all the different star systems and planets have to offer. In this case, very much seeing Leeds as, kind of reminiscent of, like, very 70s, you know, very industrial era, you know, Britain, you know, very much steelworks and factory settings around here. Not all like that, honestly, if you visit Planet London and Planet Cambridge, obviously, but, you know, there is a bit of that around the place.
You won't be sorry with that one, let me tell you. You can trust Richard Winston Tobias to make you the best deal anywhere. I was wondering when you might come back. Are you in some kind of trouble?
You might say that.
You might also say I told you so. I didn't take the time to apprentice you so you could throw it all away on some fool scheme. But you knew better. The deal of a lifetime, you said, remember? Eh? Now look at you. At your hunk of junk on the landing pad?
Yeah.
I suppose you'll be wanting some new parts on that thing. It's good to see you, boy. So are you back now? For good?
It's complicated, Tobias. Seems like all of Liberty is after me.
I see. Well, the first thing to do is get rid of your ship. There's likely to be a description out on it. That'll make you a popular target for bounty hunters. You'll be needing something that blends in better around here. I want you to go and see the ship dealer in New London. I'll tell him you're coming. He'll have a ship for you.
I don't think I have the credits for that.
For once, just do what I tell you, boy. I've been putting some aside. You'll have enough. Come with me.
By the way, you know, again, we are pretty much on Planet Cambridge right now, a much more beautiful looking place, but, yeah, to Tobias' this whole thing about being recognized by bounty hunters with the Defender, that's not quite true. Again, you can still use that ship if you want, and bounty hunters won't give a shit.
Hey.
I was wondering when you'd show.
Did you find Quintain?
That's the thing. The good doctor has disappeared.
You mean like the others?
No, not like them. This one left a trail, but I'm gonna need your help, Trent. Are you with me?
That's why I'm here. Count me in.
Good. What do you know about xenoarchaeology?
Not much. Why?
Just let me do the talking, and whatever you do, keep that artifact out of sight. I don't want a repeat performance of Manhattan.
Anything else?
Yeah. Bring the bottle. Very nice of you to see us on such short notice, Mr. Vance.
When you said in your message that you and Dr. Trent were from the Hammer Research Institute in Liberty, I could hardly refuse. It's not entirely unusual for Dr. Quintain to miss an appointment now and then, even one regarding funding.
We understand. We'd made it quite a while ago. I'm just pleased the university put me in touch with you.
I do a lot of work for Dr. Quintain, shuttling people and equipment back and forth to his research sites. I'm sorry, usually I can find him, but...
You mean you don't know where he is? He doesn't know where he is. Ouch!
Oh, he hasn't been around for weeks. Probably doing deep research. He doesn't always tell us. Dr. Sinclair doesn't even know where he is. Have you spoken to her yet?
No.
She's been doing field work for the professor for years.
Has she? Do you think she'd mind if we looked her up?
No. Funding is what these scientists live for. Well, that and a little recognition, of course.
Of course. Can you tell us where Dr. Sinclair is now?
Sprague. I'm afraid I can't get her a message, though. It's too far out.
That's all right. We'll go to her. You've been very helpful, Mr. Vance. Thank you.
I think Dr. Sinclair will be quite pleased. Last week, nothing. This week, you and the Rhinelanders.
What Rhinelanders?
From the New Berlin Museum. They're also very interested in their work. You just missed them.
Uh-oh.
We gotta move. Get whatever you need here on Cambridge and meet me in space. Don't take too long, Doctor.
I won't.
Academics.
Yeah, what a bunch of freaking dweebs. Too busy eating their nerd burgers. In any case, the new ship we have there now is the light fighter, the Cavalier, darling. Yes, eat some caviar while flying the Cavalier. This is pretty much the Bretonian light fighter, and one that well, I mean, I do think it's a much better pick than the heavy fighter variant in, shit, I completely forgot what the heavy fighter's name was. But, yeah, much more maneuverable, and, again, does offer more nanobot storage capacity, you know, higher weapon classes, so, again, it does pay dividends to upgrade your ship anyway, as Tobias said, even if you aren't going to be recognized by bounty hunters, although, again, if you work for the house police enough, you will eventually get your reputation up enough with the bounty hunters by association to have them, you know, get off your back, so, yeah. That's pretty much all that she wrote there. In any case, though, another brief bit of trivia I actually learned is that, yeah, the whole rivalry between Oxford and Cambridge, you know, two big universities off in the UK. Yeah, Cambridge has its own planet, and I believe Oxford is just the name of a small transport vessel. I don't know if that was maybe a sneaky in-joke by the developers, or playing on some fucking stereotypes or anything. But I mean, I suppose if Freelancer wanted to do that, they probably would have had a Bretonian prison colony called Australia, which... there should have been another sleeper ship. An Australian sleeper ship. Could have called it the Southern Cross. Yeah, but in any case, so, yeah, no Quintain, but we do have his protege, Dr. Sinclair, and, yeah, it seems that she's not only wrapped up in all the archaeology digs, which, to kind of go into a bit of a Freelancer development history in terms of, cutscenes, actually. Yeah, there was actually a cutscene where you do witness the thief actually stealing the artifact from Sinclair, which she found on, you know, one of the unknown worlds called Planet Pygar. But in any case, it was basically a cutscene where Sinclair was working on the artifact, you know, she and one of her colleagues was knocked out, the thief took the, you know, the artifact that Trent now has in his possession and pretty much took off for Freeport 7. I'm not really too sure why they cut this out. I guess maybe it was because it would have introduced Sinclair a little bit too early, so you're just sitting there wondering who the hell is this woman, but... I don't know. It would have been worth showing, I suppose. I suppose maybe it would have been a bit of a foregone conclusion, but anyway, to once again talk politics, that is to say the Freelancer politics, not the real-world politics, that is, well, slightly less interesting, albeit a bit more dangerous, but... Yeah, in terms of what Rhineland's doing between the whole artifact smuggling thing, yeah, basically Rhineland is sort of stepping up on the warpath, you know, they're putting borders around the, you know, border worlds, and, yeah, President Jacobi's stepping up, you know, her scrutiny against the artifacts, and indeed she is also, you know, getting into peace talks with, you know, the Shogun of the Kusari system, and indeed the Queen of, well, Bretonia, Queen Karina. Yeah, they're basically meeting at a leaders' summit, and, well, let's just say Rhineland isn't too happy about that, and, getting dangerously close to, breaching, the Borman Treaty, which, again, has more to do with the 80 Years' War, and indeed, well, some history in Freelancer that showed that, yeah, there has been, you know, outbursts of war and, pockets of, you know, conflict, even after the whole alliance and, coalition battles. It's just that, well, yeah, hasn't exactly gotten this close to war for quite some time, but, it seems that Rhineland is on the warpath again. But I mean, even in that case, though, we do know that there's more factors at play here, and the artifact is the key. Hence the need for Quintain, hence the need for Sinclair, hence the need to find the frog in the log and that set in the house that Jack built. Yeah, I mean, it's not quite a giant fetch quest, but at the same time, there is also enough mystery to keep us going. Yeah, I initially had a little bit more to say there, but we're coming up in a cutscene right now, so, I'll hold my tongue.
Incoming ships! Be advised! Rhineland forces have set up blockades in Omega-7. No ships are allowed access to Rhineland space. All merchant vessels are to remain at Freeport 1 until the crisis is over.
Freeport 1, we're on our way to Sprague to bring supplies to an archaeological expedition. Have you detected any Rhineland ships in the area?
Negative, but Sprague lies beyond our patrol routes. If you are attacked, we won't be able to send help.
Understood. Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, well, I mean, that does sort of illustrate my point as to what I was saying beforehand, in the sense that, yeah, again, there's multiple factors at play to sort of keep the plot interesting while you are ostensibly playing Go to the Thing. I mean, again, you've got the political tensions with Rhineland ramping up. Again, if you choose to read some of the news in a lot of the pubs, you get to learn that, again, there's a lot of political points at play with, you know, some Kusari people being held hostage in Rhineland because of the rising tensions. And also the fact that, again, alien artifact trade being banned in Liberty because they obviously know that something's wrong with a lot of these artifacts and not just them being traded as contraband. But in turn, the idea that, again, there's this whole thing with the Order, you know, also sort of throwing their weight around other, you know... Again, there's just a lot going on that, again, if you choose to invest in a lot of the world-building materials, it keeps you interested, really. But, I mean, again, even if you're just following the dire straits of the main plot, you do still get, you know... the echoes of a lot of the ins and outs of those details, so, again, it keeps your mind focused on the plot while also doing your freelancer-y thing. You know, getting good with factions, doing missions, upgrading your ship. Again, it's a very meticulously constructed game, and, you know, this is one of the many reasons why I love this game to death. But it looks like it's smooth sailing from here. Nothing's gonna stop us now, alright.
Rhineland ships! Where did they come from? Break and attack!
Oh dearie me. Now, that wasn't Rhineland ships teleporting in, but instead cloaking technology. This is actually something you can actually read up on a little bit later, but apparently, yeah, a lot of, you know, the various houses and factions in the Sirius system have been trying to get cloaking technology to work for years, and they've only managed to get it work by using the engine cores of like 4 battleships. But now Rhineland apparently can get it to work on small fighters like this. And if you're thinking that you get to use this cloaking technology for yourself, well, rather sadly, no dice. But yeah, needless to say, Rhineland has a few new toys and tricks up their sleeve, and well again, I wonder what technology they must have possessed from some of those alien artifacts to get this stuff to work. I wonder, dear boy. But yeah, to talk about the planet we're heading to, Planet Sprague right in the background, yeah, you don't really get to explore much of it, and again, there are some planets that are specifically story-related, and you know, a lot of which we will be getting to see a little bit later on in the game, and another reason for why we only get to visit Sprague once, well, you'll be seeing at the beginning of the next part why you can't visit it again. It's all to do with docking rings and, well, atmospheric pressure, because again, I did mention, like, all the way back in part 1 that you can't just fly into a planet, because, yeah, the reason for the existence of docking rings is because, again, if you enter without one, your hull will pretty much buckle and succumb to different atmospheric pressures, because again, this isn't Earth normal, you know, atmosphere, so yeah, you gotta be wary of that. But what docking rings are there to do is basically to just sort of, you know, smooth an atmospheric entry and, you know, just allow the ease of passage between ships without having to worry about gravitational forces crushing you like a grapefruit. So, again, I guess for a lot of pilots in Freelancer, there's no more of a need for any of that sort of astronaut training. You know, spin around the tilt-a-whirl, spin your partner around and round, throw up again onto the ground. So yeah, science, motherfuckers! It's advanced in the 800 years since, well, actually no, it probably would have advanced even more than the additional, well, 1,100 years of Freelancer's time before the game was made. Whatever. Either way, space travel made easy, or planetary entry and exit made easy. In any case, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and enjoy the cutscene where more revelations are to be found, and more action is abound. See you later.
Those ships came out of nowhere. Looked like some kind of cloaking technology. Not even the Liberty Navy has ever managed to get those to work. The dig site isn't on any of the charts. We're gonna have to search for it.
Let's hope it's still there, and that these Rhinelanders didn't find it already.
I'm getting a faint signal. Must be the dig site. Hold on. Yes, I think that's it. Looks like they had to excavate inside this rock formation to get to the dig site. Activating landing sequence. This must be the entrance. I'm going in.
No lights, no radio contact. This doesn't feel right.
Let's hope for the best. Maybe they're all digging for artifacts and don't even know we're coming. Do you think we're too late?
We have to find Sinclair and get the hell out of here.
And you say you got this where exactly?
A thief. On Manhattan. He was killed because of it. Now those same people are after us. We were told you could help.
Look around you, Miss Zane. You are standing in the living history of the Domkavash, a race that predates early man by over 10 million years. Up until recently, relatively speaking, they were the inhabitants of much of our new home here in Sirius. I've been working for years to piece together fragments of their past, their culture, technology, language, anything. These panels here have been the core of my research. They've shed light on some of their writings, but thanks to this piece, I'm close to unlocking their code. Yes, I know quite a lot about this artifact, but not why anyone would want to kill for it.
Know anything about cloaking Rhineland ships?
Mr. Trent, I am a scientist. I deal in facts, not fiction.
Well, you better listen to the facts. A lot of people have died because of this trinket. There's something going on in the colonies. People are being killed. Others have disappeared, like your colleague, Dr. Quintain.
Quintain hasn't disappeared. He's a recluse.
He's gone under, that's what I think. And a man like him only goes under for a very good reason. I think he knew too much.
This is ridiculous.
Is it? We find out that Rhineland has an active interest in your research, and when we get here, we're attacked by Rhineland ships using a technology I have never seen before. Still not enough of a connection for you? How about that friends of mine, trusted people in the Liberty military assigned to stop illegal artifact smuggling, are gone, like they were never there? Maybe they knew too much too. They just didn't see it coming like Quintain. Well, I do, and you should too.
And with him gone, that only leaves you.
I figure those ships are coming back here soon, and there's no telling what else they're bringing with them. You, Doctor, can either be a live scientist on the run or a dead one in the ground. Which will it be?
I'm not leaving without my work. Besides, how do I know you aren't the enemy?
Doctor, we've got over a dozen ships on our screen. I don't know what kind. We didn't see them coming.
I told you they were coming back.
Pack up what you can and send the others to the ships.
Yes, Doctor.
All right, I'm with you.
Come on, we've got to go.
Doctor, the panels have been loaded into Mr. Trent's hold.
Good. Get clear while you can.
They'll tear this place apart.
Come on!